Good morning. How y'all doing? I want to do a quick little video about some stuff about trans ideology. Um, First, I want to let you know that I probably live, if you picture in your mind one of the most far left towns in America, that's where I live. So I'm surrounded by ideologies that I don't agree with. Um, it's funny, in my town, maybe in your town too, as I drive around, I'll see these signs in people's yards, and they have all these lists of stuff. Love is love, and I know all this stuff. Black Lives Matter and whatever. But one of the ones on there says science matters. But it's funny that in this new trans ideology, that the only science that doesn't matter is biology, because this new mindset of gender being some fantastical experience, whatever comes to your head, just throws biology in the shredder. It just doesn't even acknowledge it, because gender is biology. I mean, and it's you really don't even have to be a genius to figure this out. That gender is based on anatomical differences, and more rudimentary, it's based on chromosomal differences between men and women. Men have XY chromosomes, women have XX chromosomes. And there is these outliers of people that are intersex, but 99% of the population is one of these two genders or sexes. But the gender ideologists for transgender people denounce this altogether. And it's been a part of science, a part of my science since I was a kid, that I learned. But that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what's in your head. It doesn't matter the science, but the science matters on so many other things for this woke ideology. And it's interesting, because you can't get a person that believes in this gender ideology to have a rational explanation for what they believe. They'll just see, it's just what I think. It's what I think in my head. But when you put the science to them, if you talk to people, transgender people or people who advocate for this idea, they can't explain it. They can't explain it. And when you ask them questions about basic biology that doesn't matter anymore, they'll usually get mad at you, and they'll call you a transphobe, or they'll call you hateful, when you're just having a conversation about basic biology and the fact that women are adult females and men are adult males. It's really not debatable. You can look in your pants and see it for yourself on most people, or you can get a blood test and see it and know in the chromosomes. And no matter what a trans person wants to tell you, nothing can change that. There's not been any scientific advances to say that you can change your chromosomes that I have seen. I mean, they got a lot of surgeries now. They got doctors on the trans side. These people that called gender affirmation surgery, where they'll, cut off your breasts, cut off your penis, make you a vagina, make you a penis. There's one surgery where they'll basically take your arm and they'll basically shave off this skin, which is, kind of like, almost like Silence of the Lambs, like, to me. And they will take this skin, and you'll have a much thinner arm. And I've seen pictures. It's pretty disgusting. It's horrific. It's almost like a horror movie. And then they will take that skin and they will form this artificial penis, which is interesting because if they don't think science, if they don't think gender is based in biology, why do they care to even have this artificial penis? They clearly think that their penis has something to do with their gender because they're trying to make an artificial one. And the women, the transgender men that say that they're not women anymore and now they're men will make artificial vaginas. So they clearly think that part of gender is the physical characteristics because they're trying to make artificial ones. But if you talk about this idea to them, they will get mad and they will go back into this idea of gender is what is between your ears, not between your legs. And in their mind, gender is anything, anything they can think up in their head, you know, like when you thought as a kid, and I thought as a kid, there were Santa Claus, there were Easter bunnies, there were tooth fairies, that put money under your pillow, they thought it, so that makes it a reality. And to them, whatever you think is the case. So the danger in this it's actually comical, but it's also scary at the same time. Because at the same time that they are saying that they are a woman and they are a man, even though their parts or their chromosomes don't match it, at the same time they're, excuse me, they're undermining men and women, the 95, 98% of the population. I'll just say 95 to be on the super safe side. I would say it's more like 98% of the population is male or female, woman or man. So the danger comes with what happened to me is your son or your daughter will now have their spaces taken because now these people, transgender people, and it's not all transgender people. I know transgender people that don't. It's these fringe people. It's the people that there's a saying that goes, the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. And that's the case here. The ones that cry and squeak, they get the traction. They get the media attention. They get heard. The people there are plenty of other trans people that don't believe in this ideology. They don't believe in the ideology of going into a woman's locker room and making every woman or every teenager or every young girl uncomfortable because they have decided to be transgender, that's their gender identity. They don't make them feel uncomfortable. They make them feel unsafe. They don't take away their safe spaces. They don't try to invade their sports to make it all about them. They just try to get along in the world, get respect. And there are many of those like that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that feel like the world should literally turn in opposite direction for them. The 95% of the population are put on a lower level and they're put on a higher level. I compare it to this woke ideology is as if you had a supermarket parking lot and you had 95 spaces for handicapped people and 5 spaces for everybody else. That's basically the mindset of the locker rooms and sports now, is we're going to just forget the needs and wants of the other 95% and just focus on the other 5% of the population. And they're able to get away with this because they have this idea in their head based on a fantasy, which is basically something in their head, which is a belief, which in essence is almost like a religion. There is no God per se, but is an ideology in your head with actually less proof than the Bible. But they will actually make fun of Christians and give them no respect for their quote beliefs or religion, but they want all the respect in the world, and they will attack you, call you transphobic, hateful, because you don't believe in something that has no biological proof, no scientific proof, just this proof in their head that they've made up. So back to what I was saying. The danger of this is now if we basically conform, if we basically bow down to their hate, to their slander, to their screaming in us, because that's what happens when people don't have an argument, when they don't have sound logic and reasoning. What they do, which I've found out from leading in a left-leaning town for a long time, is they will attack you as a person because they can't attack the argument. They can't attack your points. So they will use their emotion, basically their elephant, their emotional, to try to bull you over and intimidate you and get you to be quiet. But the danger in this is the more you're quiet, the more they're allowed to keep pushing a narrative that has no sense whatever. Because none of these transgenders can even define what a woman is. They won't do it. They will void the concept completely. They won't even give you a definition. I'll give you the definition. A woman is an adult female. A man is an adult male. It's simple. A trans ideologue will never do that, because once they do, they realize that their whole thing will fall apart like the wrong piece taken out of a Jenga puzzle. It would just collapse, and they're not going to take out that piece. So they'll just keep going on this idea of saying gender is whatever you want. A woman is whatever you think. But back to the point, they seem to sure want to have the biological anatomy of women and men. So it doesn't really make sense. They want to wear dresses like women do. They want to do all the things that women do, but those things really don't matter. But they seem to care a lot about them. So they must matter. So back to my original point, the danger of this, of embracing this absurd idea. Yeah, hold on. Let's get back. My daughter came in. I will finish this conversation another time. Okay.